An educated workforce is the foundation of every community and the future of every economy. With this quote from Brad Henry, I welcome you to another edition of this wonderful program on radio, Education Today. Education Today is a program that aims to call the attention of the public to education matters as it affects the effective running of the educational system and the achievements of educational goals. This comes on air every Saturday on this station, Light Radio. Our goal is to educate, inform, orientate, and entertain the society on educational matters, address issues affecting the educational system, influence public opinion, and drive effective educational policy directions to guide the formulators and implementers. For your comments, questions, and contributions, you can reach us on Facebook via facebook.com/lightradio, on X at the Light Radio, on Instagram light_radio, and on YouTube Light Space Radio. Don't forget you can also call or send a message to us via SMS or WhatsApp on 0809 738 4000. We'll go on a quick break, and when we return, the program continues. Please stay with us. If you just joined in, you are listening to Education Today on Light Radio. And right now, we'll kick off with the news segment. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the news on Education Today, reaching you live from Light Radio. I am Nima Ibrahim. First, the headlines. Arrest parents found near UTME CBT centers. Jam others. Student loan not automatic for all public institution students. NEL fund bus. NECO reschedules new dates for common entrance exam into Unity colleges. And on the foreign scene, dozens of pro-Palestinian protesters arrested as Colombia clears encampment. Now the details. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board JAMB on Friday commenced the conduct of the 2024 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination UTME nationwide, with some technical glitches experienced in some computer-based test CBT centers. The board, however, appealed to candidates affected in such centers to remain calm, as all of them would be rescheduled to sit the examination at appropriate times. More than 1.9 million candidates who registered for the UTME would participate in the examination from Friday 19th April to April 29th, holding in over 750 CBT centers across the nation. Meanwhile, the board has also ordered the arrest of parents found near UTME CBT centers. This order was given in a virtual briefing with CBT center owners on April 17, 2024, where JAMB Registrar Professor Isaac Oloyede emphasized the need to curb parental interference during the examination. Addressing previous instances of parental intrusion which disrupted exam proceedings, Professor Oloyede mandated CBT center owners to take firm action against any parents found near the facilities during the UTME. Parents flouting this directive face arrest and their wards risk disqualification from the exam. It revealed further that new measures have been put in place to checkmate examination malpractice, a technology the JAMB registrar said has been worked upon in the last 7 years. The managing director CEO of the federal government's newly established Nigerian Education Loan Fund, NELFund, Mr. Akintunde Sawyer, has declared that even though the loan facilities to be provided by the organization is for the generality of the students in the public tertiary institutions in the country, it is conditional for students to access it. Sawyer gave these explanations on Wednesday at an interactive session with newsmen under the aegis of the Education Writers Association of Nigeria, EWAN, at the University of Lagos, Akoka, as he explained that the NELFund loan targets only indigent students, people at the bottom of the ladder in society, to redistribute wealth in their favor so as not to deny them access to quality education. He also pointed out that students in private tertiary institutions, convicted inmates in correctional centers nationwide, and Nigerian students schooling abroad are exempted from benefiting from the loan. Furthermore, according to Sawyer, the NELFund loan, which is a pool of 1% of the company's annual tax, is strictly for students in Nigeria public tertiary schools who would apply each academic session and not at once. Even though they may spend multiple years to complete their studies, their applications would be treated within 30 days. Sawyer also noted that the loan will be in two segments, with the first segment which will take care of various fees charged by each institution paid directly to schools on behalf of students, while the stipends would be paid directly into the beneficiary bank accounts as the need arises. Osun State government has announced the release of teacher recruitment examination results conducted a few weeks ago for job seekers in the state. The release of results, which was announced on Wednesday evening by the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education, Mr. M.A.K. Jimo, via a statement in Oshogbo, read thus: this is to notify applicants who sat for the 2024 Osun State Teachers Recruitment Examination that the results for the examination have been released. The applicants are therefore advised to visit their registration portal immediately and check for the results with the details of their registration. Furthermore, instructions as regarding the cutoff mark and interview dates will be communicated in due course. The National Examinations Council, NECO, has rescheduled the date of the 2024 National Common Entrance Examination for Federal University Colleges, as well as the Entrance Examination for Federal Government Academy, Suleja, Niger State. The council's spokesperson, Aziz Sani, made the announcement in a statement made available to newsmen on Tuesday that the Common Entrance Examinations, which was initially slated to take hold on April 20, will now hold on June 1st, 2024. The statement also read that the entrance examination for gifted and talented children into Federal Government Academy Suleja, earlier scheduled to hold on May 4, 2024, will now hold on May 25th of the same year. Lastly, it stated the reason for the rescheduling of the two examinations due to low enrollment of candidates, as it urged all candidates, parents, guardians, schools, and relevant stakeholders to take note of the new dates for the examination. And on the foreign scene, more than 100 pro-Palestinian protesters have been arrested on the campus of New York's Columbia University as police cleared an encampment set up by the students demonstrating against Israel's war in Gaza. Several students involved in the protest said they also were suspended from Columbia and its associate institution, Barnard College, including Isra Hirsi, who's the daughter of Ilhan Omar, a Democrat in the United States House of Representatives. Colombia's President Nimat Shafik said she had authorized police to clear the dozens of tents set up by protesters because they had breached the university's rules and policies against holding unauthorized demonstrations and were unwilling to engage with administrators. New York City Mayor Eric Adams said police made more than 108 arrests for trespassing, and 2 people were also charged with obstructing government administration. That's the news. But before we go, a quick recap of the major stories. Arrest parents found near UTME CBT centers, says JAMB. Student loan not automatic for all public institution students, says NELFund Bus. NECO reschedules new dates for common entrance examination into university colleges. And on the foreign scene, dozens of pro-Palestinian protesters arrested as Colombia clears encampment. That's the news. It was compiled by Nima Ibrahim and edited by OLUBUNMI KAZEEM. Don't forget, for the coverage of your educational events, seminars, conferences, fairs, competitions, among others, you can call us on 0702 507 4268. Again, 0702 507 4268, or you can send us an email via educationmediaservices@gmail.com. Thank you for listening. Education Today returns shortly. Please stay with us.
láyé táwa yìí sẹ́ ẹ̀kọ́ dára púpọ̀ ẹ̀kọ́ ló láyé táwa yìí sẹ́ ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dẹni gíga ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dépò ọlá ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yìn òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dẹni gíga ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dépò ọlá ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yìn òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yìn òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa.
Welcome back. That's all we can take on the news for today. And right now, we'll take the Gino segment with Said. Good afternoon, Said.
Good afternoon, Nema. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the Gino segment of Education Today, where we consider random ideas, thoughts, personalities, events, concepts, and celebrations that many people are unaware of. The objective is to broaden our horizons and increase our base knowledge of things around us beyond what is taught in schools and classes. I am Said Aremu Olanrewaju. Today, we want to talk about Confucius, the sage who shaped China. Confucius, 551 BCE to 479 BCE, also known as Confucius or Confucius, was a Chinese philosopher, teacher, and political theorist whose ideas profoundly influenced the social, political, and ethical landscape of China and East Asia for over 2 millennia. Born into a noble but declining family in the state of Lu, modern-day Kufu, Shandong province, during the Zhou dynasty's waning years, Confucius received a traditional education in history, literature, music, and ritual. He developed a passion for learning and a strong belief in the importance of self-cultivation and moral leadership. Confucius spent most of his life as a traveling teacher, offering his wisdom to rulers and commoners alike. He emphasized the importance of Ren, benevolence, humanity, and compassion as the guiding principle for both individual conduct and governance. His teachings also stressed the concept of Li, which is proper etiquette and social order, Chao, which is filial piety and respect for elders by their children, the concept of Junzi, the concept of superior person who embodies moral character, self-discipline, and leadership qualities, and the idea of Shu, the principle of reciprocity, that is to not do to others what you do not want to be done to you. Confucius advocated for education as a means of personal and societal improvement. He believed that anyone, regardless of birth, could become a Junzi through education and self-cultivation. Despite his effort to secure a government position where he could implement his ideas, Confucius never achieved significant political power. However, his teachings resonated with many, and he gathered a loyal following of disciples who spread his philosophy throughout China. After a lifetime dedicated to teaching and advocating for his philosophy, Confucius died in 479 BCE. However, his legacy lived on. Following his death, his disciples compiled his teachings into the Analects, which became a cornerstone of Confucianism. Confucianism permeated almost every aspect of Chinese life for centuries. It influenced education, where Confucian classics became the foundation of the imperial examination system, shaping the education system for millennia. It also influenced government, where Confucian principles guided political philosophy and social hierarchy, emphasizing order, respect for authority, and moral leadership. It also influenced family and society, where Confucian values shaped family structures, social interactions, and gender roles, emphasizing filial piety and social harmony. While Confucianism played a vital role in Chinese history, it also has faced criticism for its emphasis on hierarchy and potential for social rigidity. Over time, the philosophy has adapted to changing circumstances. In the 20th century, it experienced a revival during the May 4th movement, and its emphasis on education and social harmony continues to resonate in modern China. Today, Confucius' teachings continue to hold relevance beyond China. His emphasis on education, self improvement, ethical conduct, and social harmony has a universal appeal. The study of Confucian thought is still significant in understanding Chinese culture and history, and its principles continue to influence various aspects of society today. Now you know. That's all on the Didn't Know segment for this week. I am Saeed Aremu. Education Today continues shortly. Please keep watching.
ọmọ tí kò gbẹ́kọ̀ ó dáni lójú pé yóò jìyà ọmọ tí kò gba ẹ̀kọ́ ó dáni lójú pé yóò jìyà iṣẹ́ burúkú ni wọ́n ń ṣe tí wọ́n bá jalè wọ́n wá tún fọ́lé ẹ dákun yé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bà lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa iṣẹ́ burúkú ni wọ́n ń ṣe tí wọ́n bá jalè wọ́n wá tún fọ́lé ẹ dákun yé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bà lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa ẹ dákun yé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bà lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa.
That was the Digino segment, and right now we'll take the International Day segments with Amina. Good afternoon, Amina.
Good afternoon, Nima. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Good afternoon and welcome to the International Days segment of Education Today, where we take a look at different days earmarked by the United Nations to commemorate different aspects of our lives as global citizens. I am Karim Aminat. Today, we will be considering the International Day of the Chinese Language, commemorated every 20th April of the year. Language days at the United Nations seek to celebrate multilingualism and cultural diversity, as well as to promote equal use of all 6 official languages throughout the organizations. Under the initiative, UN duty stations around the world celebrate 6 separate days, each dedicated to one of the organization's 6 official languages. While April 20, the date for the Chinese Day was selected from Guyu, Reign of Millets, which is the seat of 24 solar terms in the traditional East Asian calendars, to pay tribute to Kanju. Kanju is a very popular figure in the ancient China, claimed to be an official historian of the Yellow Emperor and the inventor of Chinese characters. Legend has it that he had 4 eyes and 4 pupils, and that when he invented the characters, the deities and ghosts cried and the sky rained millets. From then on, Chinese people celebrate the day Guyu in honor of Kanju. In the Gregorian calendar, it usually begins around April 20. Chinese at the UN. Chinese was established as the official language of the United Nations in 1946. However, in early years, Chinese was not commonly used in the work of the United Nations. The situation was improved after restoration of the lawful rights of the People's Republic of China in the United Nations in 1971. In 1973, the General Assembly included Chinese as a working language, which was followed by the Security Council in 1974. More and more UN offices and staff members work with Chinese language. Mandarin, which is the Chinese language, is the official language of mainland China and Taiwan. It is also one of the official languages of Singapore and the United Nations. Mandarin is also spoken in many Chinese communities throughout the world. There are estimated 40 million Chinese living overseas, and mostly in Asian countries, about 30 million. There is also a significant Chinese population living in the Americas, 6 million, Europe, 2 million, Oceania, 1 million, and Africa, 100,000. In the United States, Chinatowns in New York City and San Francisco contain the largest Chinese communities. Chinatowns in Los Angeles, San Jose, Chicago, and Honolulu also have a large population of Chinese people and thus Chinese speakers. In Canada, much of the population of Chinese people is in Chinatowns in Vancouver and Toronto. In Europe, the UK has many large Chinatowns in London, Manchester, and Liverpool. In fact, Liverpool's Chinatown is the oldest in Europe. In Africa, the Chinatown in Johannesburg has been a popular tourist attraction for decades. Other large overseas Chinese communities exist in Nigeria, Mauritius, and Madagascar. In the presence of an overseas Chinese community does not necessarily mean that Mandarin Chinese is the common language spoken in the communities, however. Because Mandarin Chinese is the official language and lingua franca of mainland China, you can usually get by with speaking Mandarin. And that's it on International Day segment. I am Karim Aminat. Education Today continues in a moment. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back. You are still on to Education Today on Light Radio, and right now we're moving into the discuss segment, and our guest is very much here with us. Today we are discussing UTME 2024 and JAM's call for arrest of parents, matters arising. Once again, the topic is UTME 2024 and JAM's call for arrest of parents, matters arising. Amid preparations for the 2024 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination, UTME, the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAM, has ordered the arrest of parents found near UTME centers. In a virtual briefing with CBT Center owners on April 17, 2024, JAM Registrar Professor Isaac Oloyede emphasized the need to curb parental interference during the examination. On today's episode of Education Today, we want to take a look at this call, its relevance, parents' reservations, and other issues surrounding the conduct of the examination. And joining us on the program today is our in-house analyst, an educational consultant, researcher, and lecturer at the University of Lagos. It's no other than Mr. OLUBUNMI KAZEEM. Good afternoon, Mr. KAZEEM.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon to our listeners. Good afternoon to the host, and it's a pleasure to be here once again.
All right, thank you. So do not forget you can be part of the discourse by sending your comments and questions to 0809-738-4000. Once again, the number to text is 0809 0809-738-4000, or you can as well drop your comments via the live feeds on our Facebook and YouTube pages. Before moving into the discourse proper, our short quiz question for this edition is: on which date is the International Day of Chinese Language commemorated? On which day of the year is the International Day of the Chinese Language commemorated? Send your answer to the WhatsApp number 0809-738-4000, or drop it as a comment on our Facebook or YouTube live feeds. The first correct answer wins the prize. Good luck. So, without further ado, let us start by, enlightening the average listener or audience out there. What is the UTME?
Well, UTME stands for Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination, UTME, and it is an entrance examination. Let me put it that way.
Okay.
It is an examination that is written to qualify secondary school graduates, to give them opportunity to continue their education beyond secondary school, and that is to gain admission into tertiary education institutions across Nigeria. Now, the examination is a CBT exam. It's called unified because before now, JAMB had about two different examinations. First is what you call the UME, the University's Matriculation Examination, and we had what we call the PCE. That's for the Polytechnics and Colleges of Education Examination, so PCE. So at a point, the board decided that instead of holding two different examinations, one for universities and another one for Polytechnics and Colleges of Education, such that a student can actually register for the two different exams,
Okay.
to try his or her luck in probably that of university, or if you feel probably I didn't do well, then I'll probably register for PCE. So,
All right.
and the idea is, why the segregation? Any student that wants to gain admission into any tertiary institution in Nigeria, be it a university or a college of education or a polytechnic, should be subjected to the same level of assessment.
Yeah,
It's on the basis of your performance that will now determine which
You're
institution
qualified to
you would eventually
attend.
secure admission. So
Yes.
that's the idea. So, and before now, it used to be, a paper-based test.
Yes. it
So,
was.
but now it has graduated from being a purely paper-based test. When I say paper-based, that is, you have your pencil and you probably have your
answer
question
sheet,
paper. It is
yes.
objective. It's an objective test.
Yes.
And when I say objective test, so the kind of objective test that it is that of multiple choice questions, MCQ,
Yeah.
where you have options. You have a question. You have options A, B, C, D, or whatsoever. Then you would have your what we'll call the OMR sheet.
Yes.
Optical machine reader paper, such that you will shade the
The
answers based on the particular option that you feel is the correct one for that particular question.
Yes.
And you would have 4 different subjects. The subject that is common to every candidate is that of the English language. So depending on the course you are interested in, that will determine the subject combinations that you register for as far as that exam is concerned. So, but the way it is now, it has graduated from that full paper-based test to now a computer-based test, such that You now register for the exam. You would write it online, via the computer system, and you provide your answers there. So it has moved from there, and that is the way it is now. So that exam that qualifies a student for admission into any tertiary institution in Nigeria, that exam conducted by the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board. You must understand, because a lot of times people just say, I want to go and write JAM. It is not JAM you are writing. It is UTME.
Yeah.
The examination is UTME.
The
body conducting the examination is
JAM.
JAM.
Yes.
Just like saying WAEC and WASC. What you are
Yes.
writing is WASC.
WASC.
That is West African Senior School Certificate Examination. So, but the body conducting it is WAEC. You also have SSCE conducted by NECO. So the exam is the SSCE, but the body is NECO or WAEC. So don't confuse the examination with the body that is conducting the examination.
All right. So, thank you for providing that background to the question. I believe that the average listener out there would now would be able to grasp what the UTME is about now. So that takes me to my next question, which is how often and when exactly is this exam is it conducted? Is it that it's a yearly, or is it how is it conducted?
So first, in terms of how, I think I started with the fact that it's a computer-based test.
Yes,
so
you did.
That means that it is written via the computer system, so it's not a paper-based thing. So that's the first one. Then how often? The UTM is just a single diet exam in a year. It's an annual examination. And for the fact that before now, it used to be written on a single day.
Yes.
When it was paper-based. So it used to be written on a single day. Then it used to be a Saturday. A particular Saturday in a year will be fixed as the date for the examination. But now, because it is computer-based tests, and you have about 1.8, 1.9 million candidates registering for this examination, and we only have a number of CBT centers where these candidates can write the examinations across the federation. So JAM has now done it that the exam is done in batches. So there are schedules for students. So by the time you register, the board will schedule the particular date, the particular time
of the day,
and the venue, the CBT center where you would be able to write the examination. So, and for that reason, it is conducted, for a number of days. Usually, the way it is now, it is conducted around April, the month of April in the year. So that's when the examination holds. So April, usually April in the year.
All right. So my next question would be that, are there requirements for candidates who wish to write this examination, or any student can just wake up and pick up the form and claim to want to write the examination?
Well, in terms of requirements, first is that of age. And I'm saying that of age because expectedly, JAM assumes that anyone that will qualify to write this examination should not be less than 16 years or close to 16 years. That per year, that person would be 16. And the reason being that it expects a level of maturity for anyone writing that exam to be someone that is qualified psychologically to be able to gain admission into a tertiary education institution, where such a person would need less supervision of probably a parent or an elderly person. So, and for that reason, have completed secondary education.
Okay.
Although that is gradually changing, where students in secondary school, especially SS3, now write, UTME. No, I said SS3. Okay. The idea being that for a lot of them, they would write their SSCE, and that same year they would also write their UTME. Before now, it is
Yes.
expected that you would have written your SSCE, and it is the result of the SSCE
That you
that
tender.
serves as a
Yes.
prerequisite for you to be able to register you for UTME. But the
Yeah.
way it is now, people now use what is called awaiting results. So you would have registered for your SSCE even if you have not, got the result.
Yes.
You would have written the SSCE or you'd have registered it, and as at the time you are writing that UTME, you're expecting that your SSCE result would be past the required subject for you to be able to qualify for the UTME.
Okay, Prof. Apart from the UTME, are there other means by which the candidates can gain admission into the tertiary institution?
All right, good. I love that question because for a lot of people, we have this fixation to the fact that it has to be UTME or nothing, and especially for the fact that for a lot of people, the attention and the whole mindset is it's either university or nothing. But there are different means of securing admission or gaining admission entry into a university beyond just the UTME. And that's why for JAM, we have the UTME. You also have what we call direct entry.
Yes.
And the idea of direct entry is that you have actually gone to a particular institution before, or you have undertaken an A-level program before, which you have passed, and on that basis you now use the result of such an A-level examination to secure entry into the university without having to write the UTME. And the idea is that you might have gone to a polytechnic or a college of education, you completed the program, you got your result. On the basis of the result that you got in such an institution, you now use it to secure a direct entry examination direct entry admission into 200 level or 300 level as the case may be in the university. And beyond probably just the College of Education or Polytechnic, you also have some other A-level examinations.
Yes.
Like, you have GPEB now, you have IJMB,
We have
you have,
courses
SAT,
too.
you have, some other A-levels exams like that, IGCSE, and some other ones like that. For some institutions that are open to, such people who possess such, results for direct entry exams. So then beyond that and that's for, undergraduate full-time programs. Now for some adults or for some other people who feel like, well, I can't go for a full-time program, probably because of work or some other engagement like that, you also have some other opportunities like called the distance learning programs. So you have that. You also have what called sandwich programs in our institutions, be it university
They have
or
different
even
terms, they call it
colleges of education.
in
You also have
universities.
you also have sandwich programs specially designed for teachers to upgrade their certifications. So
Yes.
you also have that. So these are some of the ways by which candidates can secure admission into tertiary institutions. And even beyond that is the fact that through direct entry too, there are even some people that have completed their first degree programs and they still use the result of that first degree to begin or to commence another degree program. I'll give you an
entirely.
instance.
Yes.
Someone who did political science in the university can use that result to secure that 200 level admission into a faculty of law.
Wow.
Yeah, that's it is like that. You also have probably programs like someone who did probably this English language, and they would secure 200 level admission into mass communication. You also have some of these programs like that. You also have some medical courses, these allied medical courses, anatomy, dentistry, and some other things for people that still want to come back to medicine, to study medicine. So it also happens like that. So depending on the policy of the institution concerned, because
Yes.
some of these are dependent on the policy
Yes.
of the particular institution that is involved.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay.
That answer was bulky and enlightening enough. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much. So, Prof, what are the registered candidates expected to know or do before conducting the examination?
Okay, well, before the conduct of the examination, for any candidates that is interested, first is you must be adequately registered.
Yes,
And
don't go through back doors.
yeah, I'm saying this in the light of the fact that a lot of people have become victims of exploitation, of harassment, and even sometimes of ineligibility because of improper registration. Some people just pay because they actually don't have adequate knowledge of what is expected of them. So that money just goes down the drain because they really didn't take care to find out, number one, where are the registered or official CBT centers where this UTM registration can take place. That is that. Another one is the fact that you also need to have an idea of which location you wish to write your examination. Because for some people, imagine someone staying probably in Lagos and you're like, oh, I don't like Lagos. I want to actually go and write my examination in Belkuta or something like that. You also have that. At the end of the day, a lot of them, by the time they do such registration there and they are posted there, it becomes an issue of I have to travel down for such examination.
That.
And that ordinarily would have been, because that we got that idea from when it used to be a paper-based test. There's no longer center around this particular area, so you need to. But then, if you understand the fact that this is now a CBT exam, so even if you cannot probably on a particular day, that this exam now comes in different batches on different days.
Yes.
So you'll be able to fit into the schedule of that particular CBT center one another, even if one particular day is already filled up and things like that. So you need to know this. Another thing is you need to be computer literate. That's an additional challenge that some students, candidates face, in the sense that because a lot of them they've never written a computer-based test before.
Yes.
All through their lives, probably what they have been used to is paper-based tests. Now you're coming from that angle just to a computer-based test. For someone who is not too conversant with the use of the computer, the use of keyboard and other things like that.
I've actually experienced that. I was in the CBT center in the exam hall, and the person sitting next to me was literally doing nothing. Yeah, and I was like, did you come here to play or something? He could not move.
And that's why JAMB also did a human's job by trying to provide some keys, an opportunity for it to say, okay, instead of you don't know next,
trial,
there are some shortcuts that have been provided
for the CBT
mock exam. There's also the mock exam.
They also have the mock exam that gets you acquainted, familiarize, that you're able to familiarize yourself.
Yes, you know your level of preparedness for the exam.
Yes.
Even beyond the level of preparedness, for some people they are prepared, but the reality is they are not acquainted with the use of the computer system.
Yes.
So the mock exam, gives you at least a prior experience of what the exam would look like.
Yes.
So how prepared am I with the and how ready am I with the use of these computer systems? Yes. Okay, do I know already all these shortcuts? Have I been able to really prepare myself to be able to because it's also a speed test. Yes. You have a limited time frame to write the exam.
Then you also get
how quick are you to be able to read, comprehend, and provide answers within the time available? So all that is something you also need to understand. Which school offers the course you're interested in?
Yes.
What exactly is the subject combination? Because you also have varieties, differences in the combinations by different institutions. So you need to know, because a lot of people, you also have a situation where they register for a particular course and they don't take their time to look at the subject combinations. And at the end of the day, you have unrelated combinations. You would write your exam normally 4 subjects. It's over 400. English language 100. Every other subject that you have within that combination is also 100 each. But at the end of the day, you look at it, you have a very good score. But this is not the requirement for that particular course. So it looks like, JAMB has done, this and that. So it's not the fault of JAMB, but it's fault of the students.
Because some even feel that, because I love this subject, let me just go for it. Because I will be able to do well.
Now, the reality is, it's not on the basis of love, and examination is not emotion.
It's beyond love.
It's beyond love, yeah. It's about the fact that this is what is required for this particular course. So you need to understand all these things before going into it, because without such understanding, you might have a result, but the result might be useless. And that's something that pains a lot of candidates.
Yes.
Another
The
thing is,
effort, the
because
time,
for a lot
everything
of
wasted.
people, they actually don't go through this process themselves. So they don't find out, and they actually don't do the registration themselves. It's just one, they say, oh, go and meet Uncle so and so. He will just put you
Help
through.
you out.
And for some people, it's the CBT center operators
That help them from A
that
to
just
Z.
fix everything for them.
Just is
And
to
at the end
collect
of
the
the day,
sleep.
just is
and
just to
go to
collect the
the
sleep and
exam.
go home. For them thinking that. And these days now, because JAM is actually improving the security of the examination system and also improving the quality of the conduct of the exams, you now have a situation where when you register, your biometrics are captured.
Yes.
So someone cannot just register on your behalf anymore. There is a particular number you will drop. You're also required to provide your NIN, NIN. So if you don't have your NIN, then you cannot register for
You're
the
not
exam.
qualified.
So that at the end of the day, you ensure that your biometrics as provided by NIN also tallies with the biometrics of the particular candidate that is coming to register. So that if it doesn't tally, that registration will not go through. Beyond that is the fact that it captures your face and you would have to come back because JAM does the verification back end. So at the end of the day, you come back and print your result, your slip, registration slip, so that you can actually gain entrance into the exam hall.
All right. So earlier this week, JAMB has called for the arrest of any parents found, loitering or trying to disrupt or interfere unnecessarily in the examination being conducted in the CBT centers. What's your take on this? Do you not think that JAMB is going too extreme, or by taking the law into its own hands, infringing on the right of these parents and their wards?
Well, one thing we must first realize is the fact that JAM will not just come up with some of these regulations if not on the basis of experiences that it has had in conducting this examination for so many years.
All
So we're
right.
talking about an examination body that has been in existence since 1978. So invariably, JAM is,
Is aware of what it's
almost, that
doing.
JAM is 46 years old now.
Okay.
So it knows a whole lot of things about the conduct of exams. So, and it's trying to improve the quality on a yearly basis. So the idea for calling, of calling for the arrest of parents is to actually ensure that it is the students themselves, the candidate themselves, that are involved directly in writing this examination.
Okay.
Because there has been, from experience, interference by parents. Some of them try to influence the CBT center operators. Some of them try to bribe them. Some of them try to actually bring
Cause
in
trouble.
answers.
Yes.
That could be hitches in the exam, center. That could be hitches. But then, some of these parents, if it were to be the candidates themselves, some of them were like, I have an exam at stake, so I cannot just, allow this. So probably let me be patient. But for some of the parents, the next thing is, the noise, they start, abusing, some assaulting, harassing, JAM officers, all the CBT center operators, and so many other things like that. So I think that's one of the reasons. And at the same time, JAM is trying to curb examination malpractice as much as possible. See, we've had cases where parents even offer themselves as a form of sexual gratification to CBT center operators just because you want, you are trying to seek favors for your child. It doesn't make any sense. Then mind you, we're talking about people that are to gain admission into tertiary institutions. So if they are not man enough, if they are not mature enough to be able to go to these centers to write the exams, then they are not even mature enough to actually gain admission to the university in the first instance. So we have a situation where we have underage people registering for it. And that's why the parents don't have the confidence. This one that has never left home before, this one that does not even know the road, this one that does not even know how to get to this place, this one that does not even know what to do and everything like that. We just be confused. And this is the same child you want to gain admission to tertiary institution.
You want
Are
to
we not
live
deceiving
in
ourselves?
the wilderness for 4 years or more.
So it's I think that it's a welcome development as far as I am concerned. The only thing is just that we need to understand the perspective from which JAM is coming from.
Yes, we do. All right. So considering the state of insecurity in Nigeria, still on this call for the order of parents, do you think that it is still safe, even if the ward or the students is, mature and all, and then we have cases of students traveling out of their current location? What do you say to that? Do you still feel that their parents should be left at home relaxing while their children are there?
Well, it's two things. It's either first, I don't know why we actually want to travel far distance because before we write this exam, it doesn't really make any sense.
I think it's JAMB that dictates, that assigns the location.
No,
to
JAM
them.
does not just assign you to another state like that. It doesn't happen that way. Seriously, that's
Okay.
something we need to get clear, especially with the CBT thing and with the CBT centers that are available. You have opportunity to write as much as possible within your state.
All right.
Beyond that is the fact that even if you don't have probably long distances, it's something that before the exam date you need to actually check out the venue.
Yes.
This
as a
child should be able to,
precautionary measure.
should know, okay, this is the way to go, the things like that. And I'm not even saying that. You probably can't follow them to the area where the CBT center is located. But don't crowd the venue of
Keep
the
a
exam.
distance.
Keep a distance.
Yes,
You
yes.
can decide, see, let me tell you, people go to schools. Do parents have to enter into the classroom?
No.
You have parents that drop their kids at the entrance of the school and the children go in.
Yeah.
So if there are places around that you can actually go and there, go and stay there in your car. Don't run around for these kids. It's just so
Yes.
pathetic. You're like, are these nursery school
It
students?
looks
or,
immature as well.
very, very. So
Because
sincerely.
some do say that how will you keep your phones, your stuff? So if you just
Exactly.
Let me
That
tell you, you don't have
concerns
business.
you.
The truth is, you don't have business with the use of phones.
So they shouldn't go to the center with their phones.
You're not expected to go to the center with your phone. You
Wow.
already know the location of the exam before that day.
yes.
Now, even if the exam is tomorrow and you know your center today, the morning of it, get all that you need. It's the writing materials that you probably need. It's not even more of writing materials anymore, probably.
like
Because
the-
everything
the
was
way
more
things
convenient.
are
Stay
now,
in
the way things
contact
are
with
now.
their ward.
See,
The
for your phones, let me tell you,
insecurity.
the truth is, there are places where you can keep all these things without having to. So parents don't have to follow them, straight to the exam
Alright.
center. So there is no justification for parents trying to force themselves into the CBT exam center. If the students are the ones that actually did the registration themselves, they did the mock exams themselves, then I don't think all these things will actually come up in the.
All right. So my last question on the call for the order of arrest is: do you think JAMB is empowered? Do they really have the right to push out this order, or are they, outstepping their boundaries?
Now, what JAM is saying is that CBT centers actually, there is an arrangement in terms of security, which I'm sure that JAM would have taken care of. Beyond that is the fact that JAM is telling the CBT centers if there are parents that are behaving unruly, that want to fall themselves, the CBT centers are empowered to actually call for the assistance of the police to arrest them.
So it's not like
it's not as if it
JAMB.
is JAM that would arrest.
Okay.
JAM does not have the power of arrest. See, let me tell you. No. See, let me put it this way. Even as an ordinary citizen, you can arrest a culprit. The only thing is, you arrest and you hand over to the police.
Yeah.
So, as a CBT center, if someone is unruly, you can arrest the person, detain the person, and call for the police, and you hand the person over to the police.
I do hope that the arrest is a bailable offense. I don't want to have a case whereby the parents will be the one languishing in the station while the child
see, the police itself is aware of some of these things. So what we are saying is we are trying to prevent examination malpractice.
Okay.
And unruly behavior by parents, interference in the conduct of the exam is a malpractice on its own, and that is a criminal offense by the laws of Nigeria.
I hope
So, and
they
that
know
is
that.
why. So, see, people have been arrested, people have been prosecuted, people have been sent to jail for examination malpractice in this country. JAMB has actually prosecuted a lot of people. So for exam malpractice, so it's an offense. It's a criminal offense which we must reiterate that parents, you don't need to go that far.
Yeah.
These people, if truly they are mature enough to secure admission to tertiary institutions, then we don't need to actually police them. The reality is, do you even know what these children are capable of doing? So allow them to be children and allow them to be teenagers, allow them to be adolescents, let them also take a level of responsibility, let them be accountable for their actions and inactions.
So, and the last one, how soon does it take JAMB to release the results of the examination? Because people usually have issue with, some will be like, they're going to release it immediately or an hour after the examination.
That's it. Regardless of whenever it will be, JAMB would actually communicate as soon as the results. You see, that's why you have some of the necessary details. The email is, you drop your email, your phone numbers, and everything like that, and they send the results to, all these outlets. Then again is the fact that it takes a number of days, because JAMB, after the exam is conducted, JAMB goes through its system to review everything that happened at these centers. So, see, ordinarily, JAMB can release the results instantly. But because it also takes a review of all that happened at the center, all that transpired, who actually registered, who thumb printed, who is doing the typing, who is keying the result, and everything like that.
Yes.
JAMB reviews the whole process to be sure that what we are trying to ensure is the integrity of the examination system.
Yeah.
So that at the end of the day, it's not just about the result; it's also about who actually gets the result and what process they do follow in achieving this result. So it's not a case of the end justifies the means. As the end is good, the means through which we achieve that end must also be very, very good.
Okay. All right. So you're still listening to Education Today on Light Radio. We have been discussing UTME 2024 and JAMB School for the order of arrest of parents, lurking around CBT centers during examination, matters arising. And we are having our guest discussant, Mr. OLUBUNMI KAZEEM, providing beautiful insights on the topic. So once again, the question to the quiz is, on which date is the International Day of the Chinese Language commemorated yearly? The first correct answer wins the prize. Do not forget. So quickly, to round up, how do you think JAMB can improve the efficiency of the examination? And finally, what is your word of advice to parents and
Candidates.
candidates writing this year's examination?
Well, I think continuous stakeholder engagement is expected on the part of JAMB, so that people, by the time they engage more with parents, with the CBT centers, with the Ministry of Education officials, with tertiary institution, officers, with students, and every different segment of the society who are critical stakeholders as far as this education industry is concerned. And I think this would improve the conduct. Then again, is that JAMB has been doing, let them continue to improve the quality in terms of the timing, the quick release of the results, the processes through which this exam is subjected to verify the the integrity of the exam, so that the whole thing, the transparency with which it is done. And I love the fact that the JAMB continues to also improve the technology that it is deploying for this exam, that it continues to catch those who are trying to cut corners, those who are trying to circumvent and beat the system. A lot of people have this criminal mindset.
Yes.
So JAMB is being proactive. So at the end of the day, JAMB is also ahead of this criminal. So let them continue to maintain such a standard. Because look at, if not for that, what do you think would have happened in the case of Mesoma that we witnessed last year? So
I probably do not even have a repeat.
And that is why JAMB. Imagine if JAMB is not ahead of Mesoma.
I can't.
And I don't want to believe that it was Mesoma that just did that without the support of some adult people, who are actually, goading her and pushing her, nudging her that, we can do this, we can do this. Because at the end of it, some of those things you're like, no, it's ridiculous that a 16-year-old person or a 15-year-old person you actually
fool
do
the
some
entire
of those things.
nation.
So those are some of the things that. Then in terms of my advice, basically, is that, see, candidates, it's your life, it's your examination. Do you want to build the foundation of your life on cheating, on falsehood, impersonation? You don't need all these things. Do your best and leave the rest. See, by the time we all understand that if I do well, if I prepare very well, I'll do well, people will be forced to prepare. But if they feel like I don't need to prepare well, all I just need is to get some other people to write for me, nobody will be serious again. And at the end of the day, you have people that carry certificate that actually they don't merit. At the end of the day, you question some people that you see in the tertiary institutions. How did this person manage to gain admission?
Yes.
People that really can't even write their names, that can't express themselves, they can't read, they can't write.
Thanks to JAMB.
You look at it that how did they pass through? So, but then, some of the things that JAMB is trying to correct, and we all need it. We all need to embrace it. And for parents, please, let your children, let these candidates write these exams themselves. You don't need to influence what they do and how they do it. Let them write the exams. Don't influence it by trying to, cut corners, circumvent the whole process just because you want to give your child an undue advantage over others.
Opening their eyes to something bad.
No, it's very, very ridiculous that we actually want to introduce them to some. Because the truth is, you introduce them to an evil, they become more sophisticated.
Yeah.
Just like a case of, the case of a parent that smokes cigarette. The children don't smoke cigarettes anymore.
Yes.
They smoke what is worse than cigarettes.
The seniors.
So it's the same thing. if you introduce them to this level of examination malpractice, they will graduate to something, worse than that. So, and we don't need to have, that's not the kind of society we want to build.
Yes.
So we need a society where it is based on merit, that people get what they deserve, and not on the case of on the basis of, I know somebody, I can beat this system, I can do that. I know it's not the best for us.
Swapping
Alright.
of results.
Thank you very
Thanks
much.
so much,
So,
Prof.
we at Education Today would like to, congratulate in advance, and we wish all UTME candidates this year
Best
a
of luck.
resounding success and best of luck. Yeah, so that's all we can take on the discuss segment for today. We'd like to appreciate our in-house analyst, Mr. OLUBUNMI KAZEEM, for the beautiful insight is provided on today's program. So quickly, we'll move on to the words on the Mabu segment. You're welcome to the words on the Mabu segment of Education Today, where we take a look at memorable quotes that are educational, inspirational, and beneficial to everyone. Today we have a quote from Conrad Hall. According to Conrad, you are always a student, never a master. You have to keep moving forward. You're always a student, never a master, as you have to keep moving forward. That's our words on the Marble for today. Consider yourself a student, always in search of knowledge, and never assume yourself a master who already knows everything. So because they also say that knowledge is a lost treasure of anyone. Wherever you find it, you grab it, and we learn from cradle till grave. That's how the saying goes. And do we have a winner for today? All right, so I guess we do not have a winner for today. Okay, so the answer to the question is 20th April, which actually coincides with today. So the International Day for the Chinese Language is celebrated every 20th of April. Every 20th of April is the date that the UN has, set aside for the commemoration of the International Day of the Chinese Language. And with that, we would like to inform you, our esteemed listeners, that you can advertise your products and services and also showcase your events on our program, Education Today. This you can do by calling the number 0703 953 8998. Again, 0703 953 8998. You can also call 0702 507 4268. Thank you very much for joining us today. Let us know how you feel about today's program through our various platforms on Facebook, Education Today, on YouTube, Education Space Today, and you can also send an email to educationmediaservices@gmail.com. So quickly, I'd like to give a shout out to Yusuf Abiodun, Camila, Ayub Arawoye. We also have Shukrat Olare. Thank you for joining, and thank you for sticking with us up till this moment. We really do appreciate your presence with us, and would also like to congratulate the recent Guinness World Record breaker in person of Mr. Tunde Onokoya. We at Education Today, we congratulate you, and we pray it marks the beginning of more successes and achievements for you. Congratulations once again, Mr. Tunde Onokoya. And that brings us to the end of today's program. Many thanks to the entire crew of Education Today and the management of Light Radio.